Well, most of you asked me to not make a review video on the Honor Band 6, so I made one. Hey everyone, Mukul here. The Honor Band 6 was with me for about 2 weeks and I made sure to make the most use of it because otherwise, no most use, no review. Now I'm not going to describe what all the watch is as you can read about it on its website, but I will share how my usage experience was with it during the tenure I used it. The band for the price is well built. The body of the band feels metallic, but it's actually plastic with a metallic finish on it. I honestly don't have any issues with how it has been built. The overall watch is light and the strap is fine. The holes of the strap will make sure the watch will strap safely on your wrist and you will not lose it easily. The band does feel pretty comfortable because of the very soft materials on the strap. On the back you can see there are a couple of sensors with two shiny dots which will magnetically attach to the supplied charging cable and charge the band. And the Honor Band 6 does charge pretty fast. I charged it with a 2.4 ampere charger and it charged from 0 to 100% in about 1 hour and few minutes. Well, sorry I couldn't log it properly, but the first 15% was charged in about 10 minutes. So I am honestly not sure with which charger Honor claims this sort of charging speed and battery performance. And if you know about it, let me know. During a day of typical usage with one of the exercise modes used for about 30 minutes or so, the battery drops by about 15 to 20%, which means the band might require recharging every 5 to 7 days in this sort of typical usage. Or it can run even more if you don't give a flying F about exercises, as all of that anyway hurts the food we love. But the idle battery consumption was pretty impressive when it's not connected to a phone. It hardly drops by 1 or 2% throughout a full 24 hours of sitting idle, clearly proving being lazy is good. The biggest USP of the Honor Band 6 is its bigger screen, which is a big upgrade over its predecessor. Because of the bigger screen, too many big words. The Honor Band 5, for example, had a 0.95 inch screen size and the Band 6 has a 1.47 inches screen size. Mathematically, that's a gain of about 50%, which is more than what you ever scored in your life. The screen is ample bright both indoors and outdoors and the colors on it are super nice as it's an AMOLED screen after all. The touch response on the screen is smooth and nice and good and brilliant and nice and smooth and good. I think I'm just repeating words now. There is a physical button on the right side of the band and there is no capacitive key on the screen. And to be honest, I really did miss not having a touch key on the screen. You can still navigate through the four corners of the watch, but if you just need to skip to the home screen or just do whatever else, using the button on the right side of the watch does feel more work, especially when you might need to use it regularly. When you swipe from the left, you can see the music controls, which just controls the music app but doesn't work on YouTube. Swiping from up to down, it shows you some of these shortcuts which should be self-explanatory. Swiping from down to up shows you the last delivered chicken order. Shows you your last notification which you received on the phone. And swiping from right to left shows you if you are stressed or not, which most of you want to admit that you are. Is there anyone who's not stressed in the year 2021? If you just press the button on the right, you can find these other options too, like weather, stopwatch, timer, alarm, flashlight, and find your goddamn phone, which I for some reason keep losing. And the band is filled with several workout modes if you are an exercise buff, and you can activate them either from the band itself or from the app. The Huawei Band 6 is also the exact same band, but it has way more exercise modes on it, which is something I really don't do. So I decided to save my sweet $1,000 and made a choice to spend it elsewhere. I think you know where did I spend it? The paranthas and the butter chicken. The band and the app integration isn't one of the greatest strengths of the Honor Band 5. You have to make absolutely sure that the Honor Health app has all the battery optimizations disabled over it. For instance, in this case, I didn't quite do it right. And even when it had been just a few seconds since I turned off the phone screen, the band immediately stopped and failed to update itself. But the Honor Health app worked fine later when I turned all sort of battery optimizations off. The band uses the phone GPS and any of these exercise modes might work flawlessly and with proper sync only once you activate them from the app itself and not from the band. That's what my experience was, so I would suggest you do the same. You can also activate the exercise app from the band itself, but if you ever fall into this trap that the sync is not working flawlessly, then it's better to activate it from the app itself. You can, however, pause or resume the activity with the button too. And clearly the map maps out the perfect map for your map journey on the app, which has this Mappy feature. So happy mapping. The Honor Health app is pretty thorough and is filled with a buttload of features. The steps count graphs scale pretty wide. I also found the stress calibration method to be quite amusing. It reminded me one of those websites which asks a set of questionnaires to evaluate your psyche. And all of the activity data and its history is pretty detailed too. And if you are someone who just loves taking up analytics of your exercises, then this app is gonna provide ample satisfaction. The app on the phone kind of screams though when you activate or pause the activity, so make sure to put the phone on silent before it puts you in an embarrassing situation, unless you love those embarrassing situations. The Honor app also puts a layout right on the lock screen, which at first might look a bit confusing, but when you get used to it, then I don't think you should face any troubles navigating through the lock screen layout app from the Honor app itself. I manually tested several step counts and found it to be fairly accurate in most of the cases. For instance, during these 3 tests here, including not just straight paths, it was also filled with some curvy paths, the band step counts were pretty close to my manual step counts. The SpO2 readings were pretty close to the Honor Band 5 also, and I would say you can rely on these readings but don't consider them blindly, especially if you feel it's a critical sort of situation. These bands are never supposed to be relied upon if you feel your oxygen level is low. So yeah, don't take the band's word on it. I mean, even in their terms and conditions, they have specified this very clearly. But make sure you sit in a correct posture for these readings though, otherwise they vary a lot. For example, here it was low as I was sitting awkwardly for this shot, but as I sat in the right posture, the readings came out fine. The constant BPM readings is a nice feature to have, especially when you are exercising and want to get a buzz if you ever cross your prescribed limits of maximum beats per minute. The wrist tilt detection for the screen to activate works fine. There have been some delays every now and then, but I think it's just averagely fine. And there were many watch faces in the Honor Health app too, both free and paid. I mean, these many are sort of sufficient for me, but might not be for many of you. So yeah, this is totally subjective. The band shows all the typical notifications you get on the phone, like SMS, WhatsApp, and even calls. So all you two-wheeler riders might find it pretty handy like me. Now you might want to know why I chose this above the MI Band 6. Of course, that's what the title says also. Well, in the past I have reviewed the MI Band 3 and the Band 4, and all of them messed up the most basic exercise feature on it, which is the step count. Whenever I used to ride on my motorbike, it used to count that time as steps also, which hasn't got fixed even on the MI Band 6 as per the other 2 users I've asked. So yeah, that's a huge letdown and very extremely disappointing. This wasn't an issue on the Honor Band 5, and I was pretty sure Honor would not have messed it up on the Honor Band 6 too, and I was absolutely right, they didn't. Also, I strongly trust the Quantified Scientist reviews, and his reviews on the MI Band 6 fared pretty poorly in most of his tests, whereas the Honor Band 6 did pretty good. He's a thorough tester of all these bands and other things. So when the Honor Band 6 launched here, it was a no-brainer for me to just get it. Plus, I got it for a steal price of about 3,300 Indian rupees after all the discounts. So yeah, it was a pretty good deal. So I kind of got a more worth from my money overall in terms of the larger display size the Honor Band 6 have, and a fairly more accurate band when compared to the MI Band 6. For about the same price. So yeah, not a bad deal. So yeah, apart from the few irritating bits of the band, which is its kind of buggy sync behavior with the app sometimes, the Honor Band 6 is pretty solid and definitely worth the money you are going to put in it. So if you like the review and if you decide to go with the Honor Band 6, you can buy from the affiliate links I will post below. You can also hop onto our Discord server for more chit chats on relevant content. So yeah, stay safe humans. That's all for today. Mewbot out. Yeah, left hand this time.